ready yet. I must wait a moment. Wait a moment. I'm low on spirit. Not ready yet. I must wait a moment. not ready yet. I'm out of spirit. I must wait a moment. I must wait of spirit. I am out of options.
Alright, so yeah. I think I'm gonna call it here. I'm honestly not really having fun grinding these glyph levels. I currently have my glyph at a a 20. Yeah, 20. I got really close to beating the tier 10, but in all honesty, you know, you're gonna have to grind the glyph a lot higher than a 20 to be able to go far. Especially with Pulverize. And like I said, I'm not really having that much fun. So just in case anyone out there is interested, this is the build that I was running. Fully recommend this build for levels 1 through 10. Outside of 10 plus, I haven't been there, so I can't really tell you or give any advice on what to use. But I just wanted to go over some of the armor and stuff like that, just in case people do use this build, right? So for the helmet, and I'm just going to go over the aspects, right? For the helmet, you want to use exploiter's aspect. The reason why you do this is because as you get to the higher tiers, monsters become unstoppable more often, and so because of that, you get this extra bonus damage. I swapped on to Flicker Step. That way it can keep me in Grizzly Rage, and the reason why we want to be in Grizzly Rage is because in Grizzly Rage you get that 20% damage reduction. So that helps you be just a little bit more tanky, and you get the damage bonus, of course. Nothing changed on the staff. Still running Banishor's Talisman. Now on the ring, I end up going with the Shepherd's aspect, and the reason being is Crash Stone aspect was good, but again, as you get into these higher tiers, monsters become unstoppable more often, and so because of that, when monsters are unstoppable, you don't get the effects of Crash Stone anymore because they're no longer crowd controlled. So we had to switch to the Shepherd's aspect to use the companions to boost our damage. That was the only thing I could think of to get more damage. Still running retaliation. And then the only other like really crazy change here is the vampiric powers. So, and it's something that I discuss real quick, right? So we're running domination, right? The reason why we're running domination is because now with Pulverize, we're using the stun, and so every time we stun, we're getting this bonus damage, right? And if they're injured, they're instantly killed, right? If they're not an elite. Now I'm gonna say this is like a warning, right? If you use this vampiric power can kill you. It's actually bugged right now, and so if you are injured and you get stunned, immobilized, or frozen or feared, you are instantly killed. And you'll know you were instantly killed because in the kill feed it will say your name killed yourself. So yeah, that's just a warning. If you do use this, it can get you killed. So that's just a heads up there. I'm going with Feed the Coven because our companions give us extra bonus damage and they have a chance to restore our resource, so this is nice. And then other than that, it's just the same basic setup. Again, on the skill tree, like I said, we switched off the 20% damage reduction and we have the stun. So that way we get the bonuses from domination. And also, we don't necessarily lose this 20% damage reduction because as long as we stay in Grizzly Rage, we have 20% damage reduction, right? Another heads up, if you are feeling like this 6 seconds of unstoppable is too much and you're not able to get enough resource because you can't use the bolts, I would take these 2 points off and put them into here. So that way you can get the fortify that you're going to miss from here. So that way you're benefiting from retaliation. Now another thing, cyclone armor is very, very important as you get into the higher tiers, and the reason being is you don't need to press this ever unless you want to, but it's mainly for this extra 30% damage reduction when you get hit for 2 seconds, right? So this is huge because when you're Grizzly Rage, you can't use any of these abilities anyway. So being able to have something that passively can give you 30% damage reduction is huge. On the skill bar, you notice that I don't have Debilitating Roar and I don't have Trample. You're gonna kind of miss Trample, and if you have a 3-second Metamorphosis, a level 3 Metamorphosis like me, you might run into Spirit issues sometimes. But one thing I will say is when you pop Grizzly Rage, you will have Debilitating Roar for free on your bar. So that's nice. You don't necessarily miss this too much because with Flicker Step, you're able to stay in Grizzly Rage for the most part. For the glyphs, you're gonna want Fang and Claw. That way you're boosting your damage and your resistance. Then you're gonna put the Tears of Blood glyph here, and it's just gonna boost your core skill damage and your resistance. Over here you're gonna go with Spirit. Now initially I had Exploit here, but Spirit is nice for the extra damage, and essentially anybody that you need to make vulnerable to get that extra 20% damage bonus from vulnerable enemies, you just want to evade through them anyway, right? So that's just what we have here. If you find that you're having a hard time doing that, you can just swap to Exploit, but I think probably in your best interest to go here. And then over here on the inner beast board, we're going with Dominate for the overpower. Make sure we hit this. Then we're going Earth and Sky here to make sure we get our total armor while in Werebear and our damage while in Werebear, picking up the Survival Instincts. And then lastly, this is new. We went to the Earth and Devastation board. And if you're able to get crowd control damage on your staff, you actually get this 40% here. A lot of people have been commenting, asking about this node, saying that you should run it. And you know what? I should have listened to you from the start. This was a huge bonus. I regret not using it sooner. Yeah, you guys were right. I was wrong. Well, I mean, I never disagreed, but I just never used it right. But yeah, definitely should have listened. This is huge to add on to the board. And this is what we end up replacing that the exploit glyph with. We just use this instead, and then we just make enemies vulnerable again through dashing. And outside of that, I mean, yeah, you're good. I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't know how far Pulverize can realistically go, right? Unless you're willing to commit and grind that glyph, I don't know how far it can go. Shred, the Shred Druid has already gone to like tier 16 with like a glyph under level 20. So I think Shred could probably hit the 20s easily, especially if they get the glyph high enough. But Pulverize, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. If you do try to use this build and try to beat a tier 10, the one thing I will say is you won't struggle. As long as you're picking the right monsters, right? You won't struggle doing the dungeon, but you will struggle against the Bloodseekers. They have an insane amount of health, and one thing I recommend is use that Blast Wave Shrine. If you can get a Blast Wave Shrine right before you fight the Bloodseekers, save it and use it on the Bloodseekers. That fight is very, very hard at a tier 10. The amount of health they have is just insane, and it is very, very challenging. If it's a Conduit Shrine, you might as well use it, but don't expect much out of Conduit Shrines at a tier 10. They do little to no damage. You can barely kill elites with a Conduit Shrine. It just does no damage. But Blast Wave Shrines, if you crit, you can hit, and it overpowers. You can hit for like 300 million, so that's huge. I mean, other than that, yeah. I mean, good luck to anyone who keeps doing this. Like I said, I'm not really having fun grinding this. It's very repetitive. I probably would have more fun if you could grind the glyph levels, but you can't. I mean, if you can grind the glyph levels faster, but you can't. So yeah, I don't know. It's just getting kind of boring to me. But so yeah, I'm gonna call it. It was a good season, I appreciate people giving feedback and saying kind things and all that good stuff. If my build helped you out, that's cool. And if it didn't, well, hopefully next season, maybe I can try making a better build. And yeah, I mean, that's all I got until season 3. whenever they announce what the new mechanics are, I'll try to put something together and post a video. But until then, yeah, good luck to everyone out there again, and I'm out. Peace.